This is downtown Tokyo, Shibuya. Notice anything? And no, I'm not referring to the man with the red shoes and the hot pink beard. It is in fact that there are so few people, and this is Halloween. I would say it's roughly a quarter of what you would usually expect. And everyone, almost everyone, is wearing a mask. Welcome to Japan's new normal.
2020 is the year of the pandemic, of the coronavirus. And everywhere around the world, people are having to deal with it. Japan is no different. They've had their lockdown, and a lot of people are doing much more remote work, something they've never had to do in the past. There's a lot of unique situations happening right now that are a first for the Japanese culture to deal with, but they are. So, in this video, I'd like to talk to you about what is this new normal? As the pandemic touches every part of the Japanese lifestyle, what are they doing to adapt and to overcome this very difficult challenge that is affecting all of us right now? So if Japanese work culture was going to change, very close behind that was going to be the restaurant culture as well, because as much as Japanese people love to work, they love to eat. And when you would go out before, you would usually get something called an oshibori, and that's a hot, wet towel usually that you get before your meal. You clean your hands, and it's nice and sanitary. But now, because people are so frequently wearing masks out, they're providing in restaurants mask cases, so you can store them until you leave. And a lot of people aren't always using something like the disposable. They'll use one like I have, where it's washable and reusable. So having a case where you can put it away during the course of your meal is really convenient. Not all measures that can fight back against the virus have to necessarily be super high tech. In fact, one of the ones that they use now, less so at restaurants, but more at special events, public events, things like that, gyms, is a tracking list. So if you go into a public event, what they'll request that you do is actually write down your name, your address, and so if there were an incident reported where somebody had contracted COVID at that special event, they can then let any of the participants know that that is the case, and then you can go and have yourself tested. Low tech, yes, but quite effective, and it does allow people to take a measure of security, knowing that when they've gone to this special event, you know that they're taking it seriously, and if something were to go wrong, that there is a recourse for that, and hopefully afterwards you're still protected.
It wouldn't be a modern pandemic if there weren't an app to battle the virus, and Japan certainly has theirs. Oddly named cocoa, given that cocoa is the ingredient that creates chocolate, which is both delicious and desirable, and COVID is everything the opposite of that, the naming convention doesn't diminish its effectiveness. It works by having each user register on the application, and then if any of those users were within 1 meter of each other in an excess of 15 minutes and then contracted the virus, all the people who were in that similar proximity to each other will be notified.
The Japanese bathroom, or perhaps more specifically the Japanese toilet, has become a cultural trope worldwide, known for being super high-tech and providing you with the latest in technology, from the most accommodating bidet to perhaps talking you down from the edge of a really bad experience at work. But not always going high-tech is the solution in Japan here for the problem of the virus, and in fact it's going the reverse direction. It's getting more practical and removing some of these more complex amenities. It's not complexity we need, it's a lack of it that prevents the spread. So when you go into the bathrooms here, you actually notice that things like the automatic hand dryers that used to be there before are either covered up or removed, and there's the expectation now that you would bring something like your own hand towel or paper towels. I know this for a fact at my gym that you can no longer use the hand dryer. They've gone more analog, and it seems to be helping. Traditional office work be repressed. People have had to work from home, they've had to work remotely. Where you've seen actually the virus have an accelerant effect then on other businesses is in the delivery service model. So before in Tokyo, you used to see a few Uber Eats bicycles riding around. Now they're absolutely ubiquitous. It's hard to go out without tripping over them. And it's not just Uber Eats now, it's KFC, it's McDonald's, it's all these different chains. So interesting to note where in some cases it has repressed certain types of businesses, but in others they're now absolutely booming as a result of it. Perhaps more than hot, Japanese summer is really, really humid. It's brutal. You're sweating the moment that you step outside. And it was really a challenge for me when I first came from living in Vancouver, where for the 2 months of the year where we get good weather, it's perfect temperature, it's perfect humidity. It's a challenge. But last summer, it was so notable that when you walked around, everyone was wearing one of these. And I thought that was particularly cool for the fact that it's one thing when it's cool to wear one of these and it's not such a discomfort, but in that kind of humidity, to still see people going out and wearing masks and protecting each other was really, really significant. You have in the Japanese culture already this sense that when you're sick, you should wear a mask. You see it all the time if you're at an office, if you're at a school. And so I think people were willing to take this upon themselves. But whereas before it was, I'm going to protect you from the fact that I have a cold, now it could run both ways. I'm going to protect myself and protect others. So an underlying cultural strength that certainly has had a significant impact on the spread of the virus.
Besides Masao-san, we're all in Tokyo.
If the virus has taught us anything, it's the incredible resilience of humankind when challenged to find a new place to drink together when their original locales and gathering spots have been threatened. I am, of course, talking about the Zoom nomikai, or Zoom drinking party that people are now doing, where a lot of people, of course, use that for remote work. Many people as well are using it to meet up with friends that they haven't been able to see so often because of social distancing. And from birthday parties to business parties, you name it, people are meeting up online and making use of that technology in a social way. Over the past year, you've seen Japan take so many different precautions, from the increase in the number of masks that are being worn, to the availability of alcoholic gels, to so many people sheltering in place, doing the sort of remote work that they've never done before. Could you definitively say whether these precautions have led to some of the lowest death rates in the world for COVID-19? It's difficult to say. It's hard to say. There's a lot of contributing factors there. But you could say with certainty that it has given people some sense of community and security, and that we're all in this together, which I would say is quite a traditionally Japanese virtue, value even. And whatever comes in the coming months, that will continue, this feeling like we're going to get through this, and we're going to get through this together. Thanks for watching.